Hi everybody, so we're here today to talk about separation anxiety. This has been initiated from the consequence of COVID that we are predicting to see. However, we are aware that many of you watching this may be currently experiencing a dog that has separation anxiety regardless of the effects of COVID. So COVID has seen a lot of families at home more than they normally would be, giving lots of attention to your dogs that they would not normally receive, lots of mental stimulation, lots of constant company. And when COVID is over and allows us to resume back to normal, this will result you are returning back to the office, returning to school, and your dogs will then potentially struggle, or are struggling now, with you not being around. So separation anxiety is the distress caused by you not being there. It's either related to one person in the family, so regarding myself and Albert, it would be me because I do all of the care to him, or it would be the family unit, so it could be yourself, your husband, or yourself, your husband and your children. So the first thing is to work out who that attachment is towards. Now, why separation anxiety occurs, it's basically the same in humans. It's called SAD in humans, which is separation anxiety distress. It's basically the absence of human interaction. It's massive, it's horrendous because it often ends up in dogs being rehomed or, in the worst situation, euthanised. And we're very lucky to be in a position now to help you never get to that stage. The reasons why it may happen because your dog has been rehomed numerous times and now you've rescued the dog and it's living with you. It could have spent lots of time in hospital, in the vet. COVID is a massive reason because it's had the attention more than would be normally, and there's been a massive puppy boom, which means not only have the adult dogs associated an abnormal amount of attention, but these new puppies, all they know is life with you at home, which is not going to be the case going forward, let's hope. So why it happens is because they just get used to you being there, or someone being there, and they can't deal with you not being there. And generally this is because when you go to work like I do, and I'm at work 8 hours a day, and if I didn't know what I knew when I returned from work, there's a high chance that I would want to give Albert my immediate attention when I walked in the door to overcompensate you not being there. And that overcompensation of attention can often just heighten the anxieties, and the value of you returning home is so intense, you are creating a problem when you're not there. So it's what you do when you arrive and when you leave the dog. There's a massive issue with separation anxiety, and a lot of dogs don't get enough exercise, which also results in the dog not feeling stimulated and not tired enough. So if Albert didn't have his exercise he needed for his breed, then his frustration and his boredom could result in distressful behaviours such as thinking where I am, which he doesn't because he's so tired because of his runs. He hasn't got the energy to think about that. The other thing is that dogs that are not allowed off lead and never have that wonderful experience to play with the dogs, often that can lead to a frustration as well, which adds to separation anxiety. If you have a dog that isn't able to be off lead through dog-to-dog aggression problems maybe, then that's a problem that you'll need help with separately. If your dog doesn't go off lead because you just don't have the confidence to do it, or you just believe he won't come back or she won't come back. So we will talk later about our stress-free happy hound course and how that can help you with that. So they may also get separation anxiety because of their experience when there was a puppy. So their canine maternal mum may have been extremely anxious in nature, which they've kind of learned from that. There's also some genetic reasons. However, whatever the reason is, there's no need to feel guilty. They're a dog, they're part of our family, they are massively loved, and innocently, unfortunately, we can create a problem which we're never aware could have evolved from too much tension, if that makes sense. This negative emotional reaction, which comes out in physiological signs, can look different depending on the dog and the situation, but the common symptoms that you will see or be reported to by your neighbours are vocalisation excessively, so whining, howling, barking in your absence, messing the house on dogs that are house trained, so you may come back and there's who and we around the house. One of the worst ones which you can experience is destructiveness, where the dog chews the furniture, chews around the door, and that can be terrible because of the financial implications of that, especially in this current culture that we're in, regarding a lot of people being furloughed, less income, money being a struggle. The stress that financial impact has on the family is immense, which can result in the rehoming options, which again we're here to make sure that doesn't happen. The reason why they're destructive is simply because they're often trying to escape and to try and find you, so you'll often find some of the destructiveness damages around the house door or the escape routes. So the one thing we mustn't do, if you're only watching part of this, is never lock the dog in a crate if they're not crate trained, because they will do anything to escape that crate, which we'll talk through later. So that's the distress associated to separation anxiety. Failure to recognise this will result in breakdown between the animal and human bond, i.e. your family and the dog. And this breakdown in this bond is immense. It will just cause negative behaviour from both parts. It will cause you to react in a way that will just be a catalyst to the behaviour happening, as in being cross and reacting when you're coming from work, because you just cross and pass yourself will unfortunately make the anxiety worse, which all contributes to the breakdown between the human and animal bond. And this breakdown is what results in the consequence of either rehoming or, unfortunately, euthanasia. So that's just a little bit about what separation anxiety is, what it looks like, and the reason why this condition happens. The next part of this video will be how we can treat it, i.e. immediately, to put some safety precautions in place, and long term as well. So let's go over to the next video and we can work out a treatment plan with you.